Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Colors of Life, discovering the unique hues of autism together. Okay, let's start with, I will bring out all the parents who will share with us during this dialogue. Okay, first let us have Mr. Tan. Yeah, come, Mr. Tan. He is a dedicated father of 2 children. His son, Ashton, is 18 years old, under the spectrum, and with his daughter is 11 years old. So Mr. Tan will be sharing his journey of raising a child with autism and the impact it has had on their family. All right? Okay. Next, we have Miss Emily, a loving mother of a 17-year-old non-verbal son with autism as well. She'll be sharing with us about the strong bond her son has with her younger brother, 11 years old. All right, it's a touching story that I've heard just now that many of us sure will resonate to it. All right? Okay, and next, finally, let's welcome Puan Haslina, who is currently raising 3 small children. She has a sweet son, 5-year-old Faik Aryan, who is on the spectrum. His twin sister, Naura, who is the princess of the family, and their older brother, Amsha. Puan Hasina will share about the dynamics of raising a child with autism alongside with his 3 siblings. Okay, first we start with Mr. Tan, and later we pass the mic. Oh, you, ladies first, can? Miss Emily?
I can start, no issue.
Okay, maybe Miss Emily? Okay, tell me about you, your family.
Hi, okay, I'm a mother of 2 boys. My eldest has autism spectrum, is on autism spectrum disorder. He's 17 years old this year, and I have an 11-year-old boy as well. So we come from I come from a single income family, and my husband is the one working, and I am the one in charge of taking care of the children.
Okay, next we go to Puan Haslina.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hi, I'm Haslina, mother of 3 kids. The biggest one is Amsha. Hi, Amsha. Twins, Aryan and Naura. Aryan is the one with ASD. That's all, I think.
Okay.
I'm Mr. Tan, but the first thing I want to take this opportunity to thank the hospital, right, and also all the doctors, right, for giving us this opportunity. I think it's very important that awareness is actually created among the society in Malaysia right now. So personally, I've been going through autism with my son for 18 years. He's 18 now. And I also have a daughter who's 11. And you realize the gap, 18 and 11. And the reason is because when we first discovered Ashton had autism, right, it actually gave us a second thought, whether we should try for a second one, right? But eventually I thought, we try to see, because I think at the end of the day, you want to have your autistic child to have a sibling with them, to grow up with a sibling. So I think that's also one important point, right? But of course, it's not. You have to. It's based on luck and God also, yeah, to a certain extent.
So it's inspiring to know that, the unique background of the family dynamics. Okay, let's move on to the second questions. All right, you are here today as a parent of a child on the spectrum. All right, when did you first realize that your child's development was lagging? And how soon after that a diagnosis was made? And also, was the diagnosis a challenge? To getting that diagnosis was a challenge. All right. Yeah.
We started realizing Ashton had an issue, I think right after his first birthday. Right? I think the first thing that we noticed was he was very obsessed with certain things. Right? He was very obsessed with playing with letters. He was very obsessed with playing with puzzles. So, for example, when he was playing with letters, he would sort of do it every single day, right? And it would reach a point where even at 1 year old, he could actually string the letters together from A to Z, and then he would be able to put in letters in accordance to words and all that. But not whether he knows the words or not. It's more on, he's been doing it on a repetitive basis, and then he starts to learn it. And of course, with puzzles also, it's very peculiar because he didn't start puzzles like how we do it, right? We start puzzles with a strategy where we work around from the sides, right? But for him, it's different. For him, he does it so regular, right? So often that he starts with the first piece of puzzle that he picks up. So he picks up the puzzle and he puts it there, right? And the next piece puts it there. So it's sort of like, there's no really strategy to it. It's more like, oh, I've already done it so many times, so it's like it's a memory thing, right? But after that, eventually we started to notice a lot more common issues like tiptoeing, like the lack of communication, the lack of eye contact, So those sort of things are the delays that we noticed, at the start.
Okay, yeah. Puan Hasina?
Yeah, as for me, because Arya and Amsha is a twin. It's a pair of twins. So at first I thought that might be because Naura is a girl, Aryan is a boy, so the development might be a bit might be different. But then when Aryan start to walk, he always and every day he will wakes up at 3 a.m. every single day. And there's a point when we feel very exhausted, I think, physically and mentally. But for him, 3 a.m., he becomes very energetic. It's like a day, morning for him. And as for us, I couldn't take it like that. Okay, and then he start to tiptoe. And for the toys that he plays, like a vehicle, like a car, he doesn't play with the car, but instead, he's playing with the wheels. So that's much more things that we need to alert for a single little things that our kids done. So that what triggered us.
But some mothers will say that playing with, spinning wheels is like a part of play. So why do you think that's not normal for Aryan?
At first stage, I was in denial. Compared to my husband, I was the one who is in denial. Normal lah, kids, they are all unique and different. Might be ini cara dia, who knows, kan? But when the way he plays every day is not with the toys. Normal kids should play with the toys. Like a car, choo-choo, choo-choo, like that. Kids supposed to play like that. That is how kids develop. But for Aryan, instead, he keep playing on the wheel. He turn the car down, upside down, and then play with the wheel. And he's being obsessed with, number 8, with balls, round things. He keep on rounding on the floor with number 8. So I think that is not normal.
Yeah. So he fixates a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Miss Emily.
Okay, for Jaden, when he was born, I was a very young mother, so I didn't know what to look out for in a firstborn. So until when he was 3 years old, I thought everything was normal. He was doing everything just nicely. He just wasn't talking like his peers or going to his peers to want to play together. That was the only red flag that I see in him. Because if you want to say he tiptoe, he doesn't tiptoe. He's excited about birthdays just like all of us are. And
does he play with the car spinning wheels like what
he
Aryan
plays toys, but it's so, to me, it looked normal because I was a first-time parent, so I had no one to compare with. And everything was so normal until one day I was like 2 years old. When he was 2 years old, I was like, there's something wrong somewhere. Okay, so one day when we were at the pediatrician clinic for his checkup or whatever, I came across a magazine, all this parenting magazine, and there was thing about global delay development, autism, and all that. I said, somehow I feel he fits in the bill, and I need to do something. I need to ask somebody about it. And my husband was telling me, it's normal lah. I think because we were all in denial, but by 3, I said, no, this has to stop. Okay, by 3, I said, we have to go and see someone. I have to talk to someone. And that's when I went looking around on Google. Facebook community wasn't around yet that time. Okay, so I had nobody to ask questions about. And then I found a parent. I found a parent group that was in about autism, and that's when they referred me to Dr. Rajini. That's when I found Dr. Rajini when my son was 3 years old. So that's about 14 years ago.
Wow. It was quite lucky for you to get appointment with Dr. Rajini. Right?
Yes, I have to count my lucky stars.
It's so hard to get appointment with her nowadays. It's like waiting time, maybe 2-3 years.
Lisa, you're supposed to be on my side. You're supposed to be my sidekick.
14 years ago, it was already considered hard because they were saying, she has a very long waiting line. I said, I don't care. I want to be in that waiting line, Yeah.
You're very perseverance and persistence. Good. All right.
By the way, I just want to point out that I have not met Emily for many years. What is it? I think we have not met for after you turned 20 MCO. And so we have just reconnected again, yeah?
Okay, so getting the diagnosis is a challenge, right? So, okay, you met Dr. Rajini. What about Puan Haslina? How did you get diagnosis for
Actually,
Aryan?
diagnosis is when the trigger alert lah. Okay, but then even not so long, I still have no clue, no idea, I do not know where to start actually. I don't know. It's just like something's wrong with Aryan, but is it wrong or might be because I'm so macam gelabah ke macam tu lah. I was thinking like that. And then by accident, my appointment got mixed up with the other hospital, and that is the only time that I have to come here. That was my first time being at a Park City Medical Center. I have no idea that this hospital exists. Actually, I'm so sorry. During that time. So then, I guess it was fated and God help us all. And then I got appointment. Even I have to wait for, I think, a year. Actually, I was in waiting line for 2 years.
But you started therapy first, right?
Yes, I started with therapy first. And I think that was the brilliant step.
Okay, we'll talk about therapy later.
Okay,
all right?
sure.
Okay, Mr. Tan.
I think for me, we actually went to a doctor really early, right? At about 2 years old, we actually went to a pediatrician already. And we expressed our issues and all that. But he spoke to Ashton, right? And he did some assessment with him. And he told us that he couldn't really tell yet, right? He was not conclusive. So a lot of things was, maybe you should wait for another year, right? He's maybe borderline, but he looks like, he could grow out of it and all that. So we took that as that, right? So we went back and we sort of let him develop by himself, right? Then after the next year, we went back again, and then we did a test called CARS, C-A-R-S, right? And that, based on that test, right, he came up with a result of, I think he scored 20 over points. And again, 20 over points and above means that you're not within the spectrum, right? But the thing is, we as parents, we could see the signs, right? We saw the signs, we saw the issues and all that. So eventually we took it upon ourselves to just say, it is something that I think he has an issue, right? So we read about it through the internet, and we did a lot more research. And from there, we just started to, we just accepted it. Because I think the most important thing for autism is the earlier you accept, the earlier you realize, the earlier you start your intervention, the better it becomes at the end. right? That is something really, really important, I feel.
Okay, it's quite a journey for you. All right, it's the getting the diagnosis itself is like doing a complex puzzle. You find a piece here and there, but it's not always clear where they fit. So that's why you had to wait, like
Correct, and that's 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was, a long time ago where you don't have, hospitals like this with expertise like, So it's very different then.
Yeah, but I always say to the parents that you as a mother and a father, you know your son. Trust your instinct. All right? So that's why you have to keep persisting that this is not a typical child. Okay? So let's move on.
I'm going to go next and ask you, as a professional in this field, how should we change how should we change or make things easier for parents?
I think having sessions like this, right? I think it's very important. Again, I stress awareness, really important, right? But apart from that, I think the cost of having an intervention, I think all of us would agree also, right? It's really expensive, right? So it's something that, but I understand from the point of, the therapists and all that, from the doctors and all that, the cost is the cost, right? But I feel maybe we can look at how corporate companies can, maybe help up with sponsorship programs and all that, especially to help the B40s or those who cannot afford it, right? I think mostly the cost and awareness for me, yeah.
I do agree with Mr. Tan. I think I would not be able to send Aryan here if not he was covered medically by my company. Yeah, frankly speaking. Yeah, if I have to pay for myself, it might be, and it can be a burden as I have the other kids as well. And I need to feed them as well. Yeah, of course. But the thing that I would like to highlight is support. Medically, professionally, they are specialists to help our children. But I think we as parents as well need support and help as well, I think. Yeah.
Agree.
Throughout the journey, there are moments that I felt so heartbreaking. And me and my husband fought a lot, not because that we are not connected, it's just that we are so exhausted. And there's a point that at the same time, we felt that we could not take it anymore. So, in addition to provide for our children, I think parents do as well need support and help.
And do you think right now, so far that you've been going through that's something that's been lacking in...
It's not lacking. Everybody have their scope of work. I know, I understand that. Supporting parents is not your scope of work. I mean, the therapist's scope of work, of course. But might be we can create a program or something that can support for parents. Because parents have, each ASD kids are unique. Their characters are unique. Their interests are unique. Handling them himself is unique. So we parents do need customized support. Your guys' support for Emily might be different for me and for Mr. Tan as well, right? Because we've been through different experience. So I think that's all.
Okay. So what you're saying is tailoring, not just doing therapy or telling you about your child, but how it relates to you as a family and how we can support you all as a family.
Yeah, because there are so many times I did cry at the therapist. I'm so sorry, girls. Yeah, I did cry. It was like they are telling me about, okay, this is the progress about Aryan. Today we did this. But then I cried. I cried for no reason. I'm so happy. I cried. I feel exhausted. I cried. So I keep on crying without knowing why. And they just listen and it helps. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cry is a good way to relieve yourself. So
Yeah.
just cry.
Yes, autism, I think almost every parent will agree with me, it's a very expensive medical condition for our kids. And to be honest, I've spent quite a lot on Jaden growing up, seeking all sorts of therapy for him, until my husband said, look, you need to wake up, this is a long-term journey. It's not you do it like until he's 6 years old and he's fine after that. So you need to really plan your budget out well. And so with medical professionals, I feel that, okay, it's important that you spend the first amount, the first diagnosis. Okay, from there, your doctor will be able to provide you your suggestion, what's next for you and all that. And for, I think, how medical professionals or therapists can help us parents by doing more, either more training workshops or stuff for parents in a way that it's not just like the one basic workshop. It has to be like maybe workshop 1, workshop 2, where you continuously, you gain, knowledge in how to handle your children at home as well and do what the therapist is doing at school for them. So it has to be consistent. It has to be a
Two-way.
Yes, it has to be a two-way. Parents have to be consistent at home as well. So because you cannot expect therapists to do, I send my child to the therapist to do work and, well, a miracle will happen. It will not happen that way. So parents have to, although we are all working adults, I mean, for all of my working mummies and daddies, I am considered lucky because I get to stay home to take care of my children. But for those working parents, no matter what, you still have to find a way to work with your child, be consistent. So I think workshops at times like this for a weekend where maybe your children can get to go somewhere with a therapist and parents get together and have a discussion group, a support group, to organize a parent support group. I think that's very important.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
I'm going to put a plug in there. We actually do that here at Park City, and we've been running a parent support group every 3 months. It's never as big as this. And actually, the therapists have the harder work of sitting in the room entertaining the kids while the parents have a discussion with, on the topic on hand. So, thank you.
Sorry, just to add one more thing, right? I think as a parent right now, right, another thing that I would like to see is I want to make sure that if I go out or when my son goes out, right, he's safe, right? So the public transport, right, offices, public areas and all that, there should be sort of some planning or thinking, right? When they build facilities, public facilities, and also maybe corporate companies, right? To create awareness, to become more inclusive, right? Look at functions that you can include special needs person, right? They can come in for part-time work, get them to be more involved, so that also promotes inclusivity and so I think that's also one thing we can do.
Okay.
I think
So, next question is, what has helped you with your child? Now, we have three of you, children of different ages. Your journeys will be very different, but what do you think has, at the intro, Dr. Nisa introduced you as a father to Ashton, who's a very independent young man. And what do you think has helped you get to that?
Okay, this one is actually a very long story, right? But I try to make it concise. Now, the thing is, I personally feel that when you do an intervention, you cannot pinpoint like one therapy that you do will help him all the way. So there are so many things that you need to do, and every single therapy will help him by a little bit. So it's a really long step-by-step process. I give you an example, right? We have done floor therapy with Ashton. We have done ABA with Ashton. We have done RMTI, rhythmic movement training with Ashton. We have done MRTI, that's magnetic resonance therapy, and we do that in Taiwan. Yeah, so it's basically you put wires around your head, and then it stimulates your brain, right, to create the pathways and all that. And we've done speech therapy. We've done so many different things, right? And I feel that everything actually helps a little bit, right? So I cannot really pinpoint a single thing, but I think the most important thing is the commitment and the sacrifice that the parents have to give, right? It's more that, right? Us doing the work, like what was mentioned earlier. You cannot just rely on the therapist doing the work, right? You have to go home and follow through, you know. So those are the things that help the child. Oh, one more thing. I find recently that playing sports is also very important, right? Sports like badminton, personally, when we started badminton with Ashton, right? We noticed that his focus started to improve, right? And why that is so, I feel, is because when you play badminton, there's no time to think. You hit the ball, you get it back straight away, right? So you need to always be on you looking at the ball, you know. So it's training your focus, you see. So I think that prolonged training of focus is also important. And of course, your basic stuff like swimming, I think is also very important, right, for safety of the child, right? Yeah.
Okay, Puan Haslina.
Aaron is just 5, so I don't have as much experience as Emily and Mr. Tan, but I do know that there will be a long more journey ahead. Yeah, and I'm ready for it. As a parent, I'm preparing myself as well. But the most thing that helped me at first is you guys, actually. You guys. I was lost. I was in denial. I don't know where to start. But the first that I start with the therapist first, and then I got a chance to meet Dr. Ranjini, still after a long queue. Yeah, okay. But the therapy does help your kids. It do help, actually. Stop being in denial. Focus on your kids. Send them out. Send them out. They do need help. They do need help. I have a lot of friends that are still in denial phase. They say that bila dah sekolah nanti dorang jumpa kawan-kawan, dorang akan bercakap. No, that is not true. That is so not true. Okay? Help them. 2 years to 6 years are golden age. They need to learn by that time, during that time. They need to learn as much. We need to help them as much as we could during that time. So parents, stop being denial.
Well, Jaden is now 17 years old. He's a non-verbal child, and he did not go through as much therapies like Ashton, because like I said, I come from a single income family. So what I did was I started looking after consulting with Dr. Rajini. She suggested a few therapists, and I weighed my options. Which one works better? I will choose the better one for him right now that I think will work. And then so we did ABA, we did speech, we did OT. But after a while, because OT was getting a bit too expensive for me, I stopped, but I continued at home. And then after that, I did basic things that I think I learned from the internet after that, just to practice a bit with him at home. But ABA, my team of therapists at that time, did really help a lot. So I had home therapy because it was flexible with the hour and the money that I could afford to pay. So fast forward, after all this, he's still non-verbal, okay? After speech therapy, he's still non-verbal. But one important thing is the speech therapist told me before. It's important to teach him how to communicate. Okay, it's not necessarily speech that he has to talk, but he has to learn how to communicate. Because if we don't know how to communicate, he'll be very frustrated. So that's what I aim to do, and I'm still doing and trying. And then now, fast forward that he is 17 this year, but by 15 plus, I was already very worried. His future, what am I supposed to do with him, you know? He cannot go to school. I cannot really put him into a PPKI government school, although I would love to. because of I'm very worried about danger and is it wasting time for him in there if the teachers are just doing the bare minimum? Because if outside he could have he could learn much more. So I started looking around and then I found Employable, which is they redefine employment and they work a lot with corporate partnerships. So that's where he started learning, and I think he enjoys going there because you could see that he's very eager to go down the car, although he will complain. Before leaving the house, he will complain about, he will just whine and he'll complain, and by the time when he reached the staircase to go up, now he's willingly to go up and he will just push door open and I'm ready. So with Employable, they have prepared him they have put him into working situations, which I'm so grateful. And he has earned his first 2 paychecks. Yes. And that is also because of like what Mr. Tan has been saying, look into corporate partnership, corporate companies for sponsorships and all that. And that is where I have to thank, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to thank on our own OOO for sponsoring, for working with Employable, and Jaden is one of the child that they sponsor. So thank you OOO, thank you to Andre, thank you, a big shout out. Yeah.
Another plug, OOO is run by Andre, who is and Dr. Savita, who have Aryan, yeah, okay. So this is, spearheaded by parents and supporting parents, yeah, okay, all right. Thank you, Emily. I have to tell them the washing machine story.
Wait, hold on. And one thing about playing sports, right? My Jaden, if he is to hold a badminton racket, he will probably fling the whole badminton racket at you. And he has eczema. He cannot be exposed to the sun for too long. With sweat, he will start scratching. So for him, my idea of sport for him is jumping. So that's when he loves to jump. So trampoline park, and with the aircon trampoline park, that is the best solution for me right now. So find a way for your child to work. Find.
Yeah.
Comfortable for them. Yes, and comfortable. Find a way.
It's remarkable where how you guys found that the right intervention for all the kids. Because it's like navigating the road without a map. Like who drives without Waze nowadays, right? It's like, you try one road and you get lost, and then you come back and try the other and you find the right path, right?
So I have to tell the washing machine story very quickly. I'm always telling parents, get your children to do chores, get them to do everything to become more independent. And before Jaden was I think 11, 10 or something like that, Emily came and she said to me, he can now sort clothes and put it in the washing machine. And I was amazed. My own kids didn't do that at that point, and that pushed me to go and teach my own kids. But it's little things like that people always say, a non-verbal child won't be able to do anything. What's going to happen to him, his future? But you create that path for them, I think, and that's important. Yes, you had a question. Thank you.
Hi, this question goes to Mr. Tan. You shared that. You shared with us that your son goes through several different kinds of therapies. My question is, what makes you seek for so many types of different therapy, and at what point would you know that this therapy is not working and you need to seek for the other kinds of therapy? Okay. Yeah.
I think a lot of that had to do with my wife, in fact. So she was really concerned. So she did a lot of research, a lot of reading and all those things, right? And every therapy that we do, right, especially the first 6 months, that's where you see the most effect, right? And then slowly it will plateau. But the thing is, you cannot just give up. You have to continue with it, right? You be persistent and continue with it. and you will most likely see another jump, right? See another jump in terms of the improvements. But it's quite difficult for me to say whether, when to stop therapy and all that, right? But like what Emily mentioned, if it becomes too stressful for the family, becomes too expensive, right? Find an alternative to do it, right? Maybe do it yourself. Do it, take the initiative and do it yourself. I think that's the way to go. But yeah, it's costly to actually try different things. But like I mentioned, personally, I feel that if you're able to do it, right? Because I think every single therapy that we tried helped a little bit, right? So that was that.
Any other question from the floor? Okay. All right. Okay, so we move on to the next questions. How do you see the future for your child and your family?
Future, I'm always worried about his future. Oh, okay. Okay, but then we have to, no matter what, I feel that he needs to have a quality of life. And then, how can we prepare him for the quality of life? First, because my child, he's non-verbal and he's not academic in a way that he can do academics. So I changed direction, my goals for him. First, independent skills. He needs to know all this self-hygiene. It's very important. So no matter where he goes next time or who he lives with, at least he can take care of himself. And second, I've always wanted him to learn pre-vocational and then go into vocational work, maybe more of a sheltered working environment for him where he's protected from this one. But like I said, because of where he's studying now, employable, they are exposing him to more job opportunities and they are trying out different job skills for him, which I'm very grateful. And they're very patient. So important is you need to find therapists or working, a working environment that are very kind and patient and they are willing to train up your children. You go with it and give it time. Your children need time to adapt as well. So you need to be patient and you need to work. Like I said, parents will always, no matter how old you get, you still need to work together with those people that are working with your child. And that is how they will make a child succeed. And with Jaden, I hope one day he'll be independent enough to, at least, I just have to send him to work and he works, he comes home and he gets to do his own thing after that and he's happy. As long as he's happy and, he gets to do all this, earn his own money, and he might not know what to do with the money, it's okay. But it gives him, because when he does something and you praise him, he has that sense of pride, of achievement that, hey, I can do this too. So you need to believe in your child. Believe in yourself. As parents, we are always doing the best, trying our best for our children as well. So my direction for Jaden is I hope that he gets to work, be happy, and be healthy.
Yeah. Any tips like for parents that planning?
I think she more or less covered almost everything, right? Being able to see your child being able to support himself, being independent to a certain extent, I think that is what we all want, right? But every autistic child is different, right? The spectrum is so wide, right? So it's so difficult to pinpoint, exactly how to do it, you see. So I guess as a parent, you probably need to pre-plan, think about it, think about the future, think about different situations, when he grows up older, which maybe special homes, I don't know what can happen in future, what there will be available in future, but I guess it's the parents' responsibility to be able to plan ahead, right? And to, I think that's the only thing. Other than that, she's covered more or less everything, yeah.
Puan Hasina, you want to share anything?
My son is just 5 years old. It's still a way ahead. Yeah, still a long way. People keep on saying to me, Aaron is just mild autistic, so he should be okay. No, mild, one ASD kid is different from the others. Even though a group of them are mild autism, but they are all different needs. They have different specialties, and they have this different way to do the things. All of them are different. Aryan might look okay. Once I've highlighted this to Dr. Ranjini, is Aryan autistic or not? I'm so confused. Most of the time, he does look normal, but there are times that he doesn't look normal. The moment that, this moment, as we are speaking, I still can hear my son shouting back there, and I recognize his voice very clearly, very well. But as a parent, I know my son is an ASD kid. We all are worried. Whenever the question arises, how do you feel about your son's future? Yeah, I always feel worried for him, even though he looks okay. But one thing I keep remember, and I keep telling myself, what I think good for him might not be good for him. We create the path, we pave the path for the route for them, and let them explore, let them be. We just have to guide them, and we always need to be prepared mentally, physically for them. Because Ara is still 5 and I'm 40, above 40 already. I might die soon before him. So it worries me a lot. But I know along this journey, I need to prepare him well. I need to prepare him well. So that when I'm not around, because right now he's very attached to me. He can dance very well at home, but now in front of you all, he looks, mama, mama, like that. And I know that he cannot be independently without me. But I need to prepare him for that. It might seem small for other parents, but it worries me a lot as a mother. So, yeah.
It's clear that planning ahead is key, but also is maintaining a positive and adaptable mindset. Yeah?
Sorry, I want to add in another thing. Okay.
It's a lot to share, right?
Yeah. I think, I want to take this opportunity for this stage to be able to share as much as possible. One more thing that I also want to advise the parents, right, is do not be so overprotective of your child. Even though they are special needs, right? Let them fall, let them make the mistakes. Don't be like, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, right? Then they never learn, because life is not like that, right? Example, if let's say you make a plan, right, to go McDonald's for dinner, right? And so happen so many is packed, right? So they're so rigid that you know they might throw a tantrum. But these are the situations where you put them in and then they learn, right? They learn how to manage themselves. Oh, you know, okay, no McDonald's today, maybe we try something else. We try Burger King. It's still burger, right? So I think as parents, we cannot be overprotective. We need to also let go and let them explore. I think that's also very, very important.
Okay, what have you found valuable in your parenting journey? You know, maybe what have you learned from your child itself?
I think it's probably, I don't know, maybe the sacrifice, perseverance is one, yeah. Right? And then the other thing is the sacrifice that the family needs to put out, right? The effort and all those things. And perseverance, not giving up and all that. So there is always light, right? And there's always hope. It's not always doom and gloom.
Yes, patience and perseverance. I was the youngest in my family, actually. So during my childhood, I always received not giving out. But now with this kid, I need to give more of my time, more of my patience, which I do not have much, actually. You know? But yeah.
So patience.
Yes, patience, and you need to have a good understanding with your partner. Yeah, you need support as much as you could. There might be times that family couldn't help you, but receive all the support you need. Jangan sombong. Whoever wants to give you support, take them, use them. You really need them. Yeah.
Well, for me, I look at the funny side of things. Why be sad about it, right? When look at the funny things, the things that he do, you laugh about it, as in like, look at it positively, right? And then you wouldn't get so frustrated easily, and maybe you will even see his point of view, why he's doing this and that. And what I learned is it's very important to have your parent support group. So that is very, very important, because your partners and you might not see eye to eye, but you can talk to other parents to see how they do it. Maybe you can apply it in, and you can discuss with your partner after that, and then maybe it works. So parent support group is very important. And what do I learn? I learned that some things you just cannot, if he doesn't want to do it, then we'll just let him be. No, I'm not saying stop completely for him. Just let him be first. And then we come back to it after a while. Yeah, and for me, as a parent, I'm the strict one. I'm very strict. I'm sorry. Everybody talks about gentle parenting and all that.
We are Asian parent.
Okay, I'm a very, very strict parent. So to me, I said, no, you have to sit down. But then I will give him time, because the therapists have taught me how. So I will do a countdown to prepare him. So you have to learn ways, even though you have to learn ways how to cope with him. So for me, he will take 5, 4, 3. By 3, he'll probably find a chair. By 1, he'll be sitting down. So it's how you learn. It's how you want to adapt yourself as a parent to disciplining your child. That doesn't mean whacking or whatever, but my son, I'm so sorry to say this, he would see because now he's 17, he challenges, his behavior is very challenging. He rebels, and he can be a bit more aggressive. So what I do is, I'll take a cane, okay? It's just there. He sees it as, maybe I should tone down my behavior, but that's it. So it is like a reminder, because to them, verbal reminder, sometimes for different children, it doesn't work. But for him, it's like a reminder that, no, I shouldn't do this. This is, for me, I'm an Asian parent, I'm so sorry to say, but this is the way I brought up my child. I'm very strict. So it works. It works for him. Until now, so I wouldn't want him to go into aggressive mode. Okay, so that's where I try to prevent it from escalating. So this is me as a parent.
Don't worry, we have 2 cane at home. Don't worry. You are not alone, don't worry.
Yeah, and I would say, do not judge your fellow parents for whatever ways they are doing, or how they are handling their children when they have a tantrum out there, how they want to handle their children. Don't ever judge them, because each parent knows their child well to handle that situation appropriately.
You are not alone, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. So, any last questions? Yes, Miss.
Yes.
Miss Chi, we're going to let the parent first, then you next. Okay?
Hi, good morning. My name is Pramila. This is my son, Pranav. He's 5. My hubby is here. We are actually currently seeing Dr. Rajni, and I'm tearing a bit hearing all your stories. How do you all handle puberty, especially for both of you? He's just 5. I know it's a long way to go, but I think it's something that we have to face later on. Thanks.
That is exactly one of the questions that I was going to ask, Doctor. No, seriously, but that is it's important, because they will face puberty, right? And then to be able to explain to them what you can do, what you cannot do, how to behave. They don't understand, because it's like a natural sort of thing, right? So so when it's normal, you have to look at different ways to communicate with him, lah. But I think in terms of therapy, I think Dr. Rajini is the best person to address this. I don't. Yeah.
No. I'm going to let Emily share her way of approaching it.
Okay, my son until now, if he goes to toilet, sometimes because he is so like, I need to go toilet now, he'll try to pull down his pants before that, right? So what we do is, we'll get him, no, you pull back up. You just don't go to the toilet straight like that with your pants half down. You pull back up, you go to the toilet, and then only you pull down your pants. So we teach him when he needs to poo, because now he's bigger boy now. When you need to poo, you need to close the toilet door. So we do it. Every time you go into the toilet, you close the door on him. So, I mean, as in, like, you leave a space at first, but now he's a big boy. My son will close the door on me and chase me out, like, you wait till I'm done, and you hear the flush, and that's when I know that he's done. And when it comes to erection for boys, every morning, he would have his erection, but he doesn't masturbate. He doesn't masturbate because I don't think he's exposed to that, right? So if you're not exposed to it, you wouldn't really know. I don't know. He doesn't really. But if I do see him with an erection, right, for me, I make him jump it off. Let's go, 1, 2, 3, until 20, 21, and then it just goes off for him. So for me, I make him jump it off. I take his mind off. You take his mind off, distract him by doing other things. Keep him busy. So that's how I handle his puberty.
I think two things. It's good you ask a question and you need to prepare them early. Secondly, sports, exercise, get that as part of his life. And we start to work on what is private and public behaviors at this age. So, you can't walk around without your towel, things like that. You know how when you go to public swimming pools, there's an age limit for boys to enter girls' toilet? It's 7, I think, generally. So I say to parents, by 7, he should know that he cannot run out of the bathroom without his towel. So you want to be starting to instill those sort of things. Aslina? You want to add? Oh, you haven't even thought about it?
No.
Okay.
I did actually. Does we redirect him? Doing that, does it redirect him? Or are we in denial as well? Because I think erection is normal for them. Should we encourage? Should we stop them?
So we say, first as parents, we need to know what is normal, and especially for women, because we don't know what's normal for a guy. Same with guys, knowing what's normal for girls. So it is normal to have erections. Some children get distressed by erections. Some children find it exciting and will self-masturbate. Masturbation is normal. It's a normal behavior, normal instinct. Women do it, girls do it better, hide it better than men, obviously. You can cross your legs and masturbate, whereas boys, you have to physically touch the organ. So it all depends on what reaction the child is having and what are the subsequent behaviors. Good point. We should do this as one of our parent support group topics.
Yeah, one of the workshop.
Okay, Miss Chi, you wanted to ask a question.
Hi, I'm Miss Chi, the speech language therapist here. I really admire all the parents. As working for many years, I think I learned the best from working with the parents and the kids. But I think there were actually things that, as a therapist, we can't speak as parents. Actually, it came across with me, that was many years ago. One of my girl, she actually wanted to go to standard 1. And the mom really had a very hard time to train her to toilet. The time I was in the medical center, the toilet is not in the department. So I have to bring the girls. No, the girl was okay with the toilet in the department, but because I need to prepare her to actually going to the toilet in the school. So the mom doesn't know how to do it. So I kind of doing something is not related to speech therapy, but I was thinking it's helpful for the parents. And that was the time that I experienced the meltdown in the public. So it was really hard because when the girl was really like you're dragging the girls to into the toilet, then all of the person walking around looking at what are you doing? So another incident was there are more parents that I actually built up more rapport that actually share personal experience as being parents when the child are having meltdown in the restaurant. All the people like looking and pinpoint like, okay, you are not a good parent. How you as a parent deal with those emotions. And I actually talked to the team in the last our team meeting that I have parents who currently really finding really hard because her son is actually being bullied in the school. And she saw another boy like hitting his son, and his son was laughing, was not really like defend himself or run away. So, and she actually find a lot like really hard experience to going through, like, and she felt rejected from the society, and she have her own friends, but the friends, they have typical kids. So they kind of like saying bad words or something about the son. So yeah, I would like to hear from you how you were really strong and then how you can actually really face the society and everyone when your child or your children's having the meltdown in the public. Thank you.
Can I start first? I faced meltdown first at Selayang Mall. Aryan was rolling on the floor for 2 hours. 2 hours non-stop. He's screaming, he's rolling. And that was my first experience. And we haven't diagnosed him yet. Okay? So I was there. At first I tried to comfort him, but it doesn't work. He kept pushing me, kicking me, slapping me, everything, all he's good. So there are parents that, because it's near to the escalator, there are parents that coming down and look at me like, what are you doing? You know? And there are one parent that I clearly remember asked me, kau tak sayang anak ke biar anak macam ni? And it hurts me so bad. And it makes me cry. So at that point, I stop and I sit next to him. And I told him, if you need to cry, you just cry. It's okay. I'm here for you. I have no experience. I have no knowledge on ASD, but as a mother, I know that I need to be there for him. Okay. The first experience, I was so exhausted. Moving forward, whenever Aryan make scene like that, what does I do is I stand up and I shout, I'm sorry, my son is autistic. I'm sorry. Okay? That's all. Make it funny. Try to comfort him. If others feels uncomfortable, you can out from here. I do not care. I just want my son to be comfortable. We need to let them go out and expose. And, we cannot just comfort them into a house. You shouldn't go out. We shouldn't be scared to bring them out.
They need to feel the real world.
Yes, they have to. Because there would be time that we are not there for them. They need to face it alone. So let them experience. If you want to shout, let them. Okay? You yourself, we yourself as a parents, don't gabra lah. Relax, cool down, and make things funny. Make things silly. It's very uncomfortable. Yeah, I know. Mungkin ada yang rasa malu. Stop it lah. He's our son. They are our kids. They need us more than pandangan orang lain. The rest are not important for us. So instead of feeling stressed, mestilah kita malu. Normal kids don't shout. Normal kids don't tantrum like that. Yeah. Of course, the moment they started, everybody keep judging. Oh, budak ni autism. Yeah, sort things like that. So instead of feeling malu ke, kita ada this macam mana, anak yang kurang upaya, stop it. It's okay. ASD is quite common nowadays, so it's okay. If he wants to roll, it's okay, Aryan. Okay, I sit here. If you are done, you call me. Okay? Okay. So the tantrum time keep shortened from 2 hours to 1 hour, and now he just need around 10 minutes and he'll be fine. So it's okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think exposure is one thing also. Getting them out and about all the time in public, so it helps to get them more comfortable with this. But of course, at the beginning, there will be times where he throws tantrum and all that, and then yeah, you just need to just do what you need to do. Right, you cannot be so bothered about who's looking at you, malu and all those things. You just have to do it, and you just have to do your way to calm him down. Right, I think exposure and that, and of course awareness again, right, for the public. Yeah.
Well, for Jaden, his first meltdown was at a haircut. He's got sensory issues. So getting him to take a haircut was, I have to prepare myself mentally. I have to prepare the hairdresser mentally. So the first few times was the therapist went with me. And at one time I thought I'll brave up. I will bring him. I cannot forever depend on my therapist. I braved up. The security guard came to ask me, is everything okay? Because he was shouting and screaming the whole place down like he was getting kidnapped. Just by getting a snip. So after that, it got better. I found out what works for him, as in a haircut. Maybe a phone would distract him, and it worked. And I stick to that because this is something that I don't think will spoil him or anything, but it's just temporary. So he knows for a haircut, I get a phone. That's it. I don't give him any phone for any other matters after that. And then another thing is my son, he knows. I will tell you, these kids, they are very smart in a way. They know who to manipulate, when to manipulate the situation. Mine, when he sees everybody in a crowd, he would misbehave like what a normal child would do, because you are not going to nag me, you are not going to really scold me, or in front of the crowd. So that's when he would try to misbehave, and sometimes we will just pull him to a corner, a quiet corner, away from the crowd first. And then let him calm down, talk to him. I will just, for now, because he's 17 years old, we'll try to talk to him first, okay? And also let me see. Okay, as what we would all agree, never ever be embarrassed about your child's situation. Never ever be. You don't have to be apologetic in a way, but you can always use that situation and turn it around and spread awareness, teach the others. Why is this happening? What is this all about? My son loves to jump. He could get up suddenly, he could be sitting with you and suddenly he gets up and jump. So as a normal person out there, they would feel like, hey, what happened? Why is he jumping? So I said, oh, this is steaming. He's just letting off his, whatever that he has. I mean, I would call it steaming, but I don't know how to explain that. I was just, he's steaming, so it's part of his autism thing. But let him do it and he will just sit down. That's what calms him down. So use that experience to educate others instead.
Thank you. All right, we're going to have to wrap up, and I'm just going to summarize. Basically, this is a journey, and as parents, you're their biggest cheerleaders. You are also going to be the people who have to decide what works, what doesn't, create that path for them, advocate for them, and also educate society about not just autism, but that not every person is the same, right? And I think we all, as part of society, have a role to play here. And I want to thank you all very, very much for sharing your personal experiences. I always say I learn a lot from families. I learn a lot by stalking people on Facebook and seeing what the therapists or the centers are doing. And I would, you said your wife did a lot of research. People ask me, how do I know so much about all the different centers, therapists? I do the same. And I would advise you to do the same. Know what journey you want for your child that works best for your families. Yeah? And we are here as a support. We don't know it all. Yeah? You guys are the ones who know it all, actually. I just want to end by reading something that one of my patients, okay, I'm getting emotional, wrote to me. I had to hand over care to a child and adolescent psychiatrist because he turned 18. And he wrote this to me, don't worry about me, for I can take good care of myself and take care of my grandmother at home. I will pray for you so that you will stay healthy and happy. Okay? So, we worry about our kids. I worry about my patients. But sometimes they know what they need to do. And, we just have to believe in them and let them show us the light. I'm going to need the tissue now.
Wow, what an incredible experience you had. And thank you for all the parents for your incredible stories, your journeys, and the audience. Okay, whether you are the professional, therapists, parents, or just a supporter, your presence here is very much appreciated.